got away with numerous murders of women in my life over a span of 50 years.
The record for the most confirmed, confessed murders in American history belongs to Samuel Little, the nation's most lethal serial murderer. Georgia is where he was born on June 7, 1940. He had a challenging life and upbringing. Little said he lived on the streets for a large portion of his youth because his mother was a prostitute. Samuel Little started with petty theft and small crimes. He was first arrested in 1956, but that was only the beginning. Over the following years, he committed numerous crimes, yet police never suspected that he was a serial killer. Samuel Little, considered one of America's most notorious serial killers, had a specific method of murder. His primary method was strangulation. He usually strangled his victims with his bare hands, allowing him to overpower them easily while keeping the murders silent, reducing the risk of being caught. Little mostly targeted women who were vulnerable, including drug addicts, prostitutes, and other helpless women. After winning their trust, he would entice them to secluded sites, abandoned buildings, or secret spots inside cities. He would attack them there and kill them by strangulation. Before killing his victims, he occasionally physically attacked them by beating or punching them. After committing the murders, Little often left the victims' bodies in hidden or remote locations, making it difficult for police to find them and connect the cases. He claimed that he did not remember every murder clearly, but after his arrest, he provided horrifying details about many of them. In 1961, Little was sentenced to prison for breaking into a furniture store in Lorraine. He was released in 1964. Samuel Little's first known murder took place in the early 1970s. His first victim was 33-year-old Mary Bross, a sex worker struggling with drug addiction. Little befriended her, earned her trust, and then took her to a secluded location where he killed her. Mary's body was later found near a dumpster, but the case remained unsolved. Between 1956 and 2012, Little was arrested 26 times across 11 states for crimes including theft, assault, attempted rape, fraud, and attacking government officials. In 1982, Little was arrested in Pascagoula, Mississippi for the murder of 22-year-old Melinda Rose Lapre, who had disappeared in September 1982. However, a grand jury declined to indict him for murder. During the investigation, Little was transferred to Florida, where he stood trial for the murder of 26-year-old Patricia Ann Mount, whose body had been found in September 1982. Witnesses testified that they had seen Little with Mount on the night she disappeared, but due to doubts about the witnesses' testimony, Little was acquitted in January 1984. Afterward, Little moved to California and settled near San Diego. In October 1984, he was arrested for kidnapping, beating, and strangling 22-year-old Lori Barrows, who survived the attack. A month later, police found Little with an unconscious woman in the back seat of his car. She had been beaten and strangled at the same location where Barrows had been attacked. Little was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for these crimes. After being released in February 1987, he committed at least 10 more murders in Los Angeles. Samuel Little was arrested on September 5, 2012 at a homeless shelter in Louisville, Kentucky, and was later extradited to California, where he was investigated in connection with drug charges. DNA testing revealed that he was responsible for the murders of Linda Alford in 1987, Guadalupe Apodaca in 1987, and Audrey Nelson Everett in 1989. All three women had been found on the streets of Los Angeles. He was formally charged in Los Angeles on January 7, 2013. A few months later, police announced that they were investigating his involvement in 36 murders committed during the 1980s that had remained unsolved. At the same time, the investigation into Melinda Lapre's murder in Mississippi was reopened. Overall, Little was investigated for involvement in the murders of 93 women. In September 2014, Samuel Little stood trial for the murders of Alfred, Nelson, and Apodaca. Prosecutors presented DNA evidence along with testimony from women whom Little had attacked at various times throughout his criminal career. On September 25, 2014, Little was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Even on the day of sentencing, he continued to insist that he was innocent. In November 2018, Little confessed to strangling Melissa Thomas to death in 1996. He also admitted to murdering Denise Christie brothers in 1994, after which he was charged in Texas. On December 13, 2018, Little pleaded guilty to the murder of brothers and received another life sentence. After that, Little also confessed to the murders of Brenda Alexander in 1979, an unidentified woman in 1987, Fredonia Smith in 1982, and many other women. In exchange for his confessions to the FBI, he requested a prison transfer. In December 2018, Little was indicted for the 1981 murder of Linda Sue Boards. He had drawn sketches of many of his victims, which the FBI later released. One of those sketches helped solve a decades-old cold case. In 2019, Little confessed to murdering two women in Ohio, Rose Evans and Mary Jo Payton. In 2020, he also confessed to two murders in Florida, one of which had led to another person being wrongly convicted. On May 28, 1971, Little and his girlfriend Lucy were arrested in Cleveland for allegedly robbing a gas station. While in jail, Lucy told her friend Dorsey that she intended to testify against Little. When the case came to court in 1972, Lucy testified against him. However, with Dorsey's assistance, Little's defense team prepared the case and he was ultimately acquitted. Dorsey and Little remained together until 1988. Samuel Little died on December 30th, 2020 at a Los Angeles closet hospital. According to California authorities, the exact cause of death was not disclosed. He suffered from diabetes, heart disease, and several other health problems. Throughout the judicial process, Little admitted to 93 different murders in total, and 60 deaths have been formally connected to him by the police. In many other cases, additional charges and sentences were filed based on his confessions. Samuel Little's story is a chilling tale of horrific crimes and the long pursuit of justice. After decades of murder, he spent the remainder of his life behind bars and was ultimately found guilty in multiple cases. His identity as one of history's most notorious serial killers was cemented by the courts and his many confessions.